What's up, guys? My name's CHAOTIK, back at you guys with a day, coming at you guys with a video about the Gabapentin Getaway that I had about 5 years ago. So yeah, 5 years ago I got prescribed Gabapentin, and yeah, I'm basically gonna describe the experience I had, my personal experience with it, and also how it made me feel. Now, I figured out a way to actually achieve the euphoria with the substance, and you're supposed to take it every hour or two with fatty, soluble foods. You really want to do this because with gabapentin, the way you get high is you get to stack the dose. It's called stacking. You can look it up on some of those drug Reddits, but yeah, anyways, I found out that method by looking up gabapentin on Reddit, and I found, the way to stack it to increase the dosage and also increase the effects because they all are cumulative, right? And they will hit you, roughly 3 hours after ingestion. If you take it every hour or two, it's probably going to kick in after 3 hours or so, and then, yeah, you'll be, on your merry way. So, basically, what I was going to describe was the way it made me feel. Made me feel like I was, taking a vacation, in my mind. But, basically, it felt like a benzo, real similar to a benzo, a high dose of one. And, yeah, I took up to 1,200 milligrams before it. So, I swallowed a whole gram of gabapentin. But, the way you do this is that, like I said, you had to stack it. If you don't stack it, the dose won't hit you as strong. It's really odd. It has a really weird pharmacology, and leave it down in the comments if you ever attempted this and know about this method, because I don't know if many people know about it. I'm sure they do. If anybody researches the drugs, they do. But yeah, so you're supposed to stack gabapentin. 300, 400 milligrams. Sometimes it could be 600 milligrams at a time, depending on your tolerance. So if you've been doing benzos, I'm sure they have a cross tolerance. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But, keep in mind, keep same freaking harm reduction as other drugs. Take a low dose your first time if it's your first time. If it's not your first time, you know what, I guess, you would know your personal experience the first time, so you could weigh this, the other various times you want to take it. So you're ensuring that you got the best harm reduction possible for yourself. Because everyone has different levels of toxicity they can achieve before shit goes bad, before they have side effects. Now, I would say this doesn't have any side effects really, other than maybe feeling lethargic and also waking up the next day really tired. So this stuff doesn't really affect you that bad, and it doesn't last until the next day like some of these RC benzos do. It just fucking lasts until, goddamn, you go to sleep. Yeah, it's, it's pretty normal med. It's not like those long-lasting fucking drugs. I love those, but now, yeah, you look dumb on those. You don't want a long-acting goddamn barbiturate-like drug. It's not a barbiturate, but it's very similar to one. I think it's the successor of barbiturates, but I've never really done barbiturates. Anyways, so but yeah, back to the story. So gabapentin feels pretty fucking amazing. It feels nice. It feels good. I made a good dosing regimen with this shit. So I would take 300 milligrams. I would have 3 pills, right? I would take 3, then I'd take 3 next hour, then take 3 the next hour. I would take another 3, probably 600 milligrams at the end. And yeah, when you stack it like that, make sure you eat some fucking mac and cheese or something fatty with cheese or something, because that actually increases the goddamn absorption. It's really weird. So when you have more fatty foods in your stomach as well, and you apparently need carbonation as well. So when you take carbonation, drink a soda with it or something, all right? Basically, I don't know what it does. It really makes it absorb a lot better. I think it absorbs better in a higher acidity environment. That's part of the reason why, and also just because it absorbs into fat easier. I think because it goes into the fat, that gets absorbed easier by your body, and then, yeah, right into your fat tissues. So anyways, yeah, it's really odd because I've done this before, not trying to get high, and when you take that dose all at once, it's not the same, man. It's not. It just doesn't stack the same. And actually, when you stack the dose like that, it builds cumulatively, and then you feel it for a lot longer in your body, and you're like, oh, shit, I love gabapentin. And you really unlock the whole potential of this medication. It's not even substance. I shouldn't say that. You unlock the whole goddamn effect profile of gabapentin when you stack the doses. So basically, it starts feeling like a goddamn benzo, and you're over there feeling a little drunk too. So you're just like, oh shit, and you're losing a little bit of control of yourself, and you're swaying back and forth, and you're just like, man, I'm feeling this shit right now. I feel good. And I'm obviously not saying that out loud like a goddamn tweaker, but I'm thinking that inside my mind. I'm just like, damn, this actually feels really good. So yeah, and then it makes you want to lay down. You're over there just chilling out. You're fucking laying down, and you're just like, oh man, and yeah, you feel this weird, benzo-like euphoria. It's not the same, though. It's really odd. It has a little different of a mechanism in the brain, but it's essentially the same. It still affects your GABA receptors. Basically, when it affects your GABA receptors, you know what that does. So your memory's kind of shot. Your cognition is not there. If you try learning something, you're probably going to remember half a quarter of it. You're slurring your words. You're kind of just like out of it and there at the same time. But I would say it's a lot more clear-headed than a benzo. And it's also a lot more clear-headed than alcohol. That's for sure. But yeah, it's more clear-headed than a benzo, but not in that kind of dose. So like when you reach the higher doses, man, that's when you start getting like some alcohol-like effects where you kind of feel like you can't walk straight and shit. And you're just over there just like, I just need to lay the fuck down. And it makes you lazy as hell too. Calms you down and definitely tranquilizes your brain. So, it's really good to use for a panic attack or something. Yeah, it's really just like really good pain medication too. Yeah, so yeah, taking that high of a dose, man, you're not going to have any pain. I wonder if that would actually get rid of pain that an opiate would, help. I wonder if it would actually remove the pain as well as an opiate. That's definitely up for experimentation, but I don't know. So leave it down in the comments if you know it did for you, because I'm really interested in knowing about that. But I think if you take a higher dose of this shit, it might act like a really potent goddamn pain med. Yeah, at that dosage, you're fucking too high. So honestly, your brain kind of turns off a little bit. I'm sure it really dampens the nerve receptors, connections, because that's literally what's going on. Like, that's why it causes less pain, reduces pain, because your nerves start to shut off. Your nerve receptors are firing, and it kind of like interferes with goddamn signaling. That's why it shuts off the pain. So a plus for that, because pain is a bitch, and it's part of life too. So yeah, get used to it, right? That's what they always say. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know. Gabapentin was fucking awesome, man. I did this shit at least 10 times, I think, up to 10 times. Last time I did it 2 years ago, I had some gabapentin pills, and I still did that dosing regimen. It works, just as good. But I would say this: the 300 milligram gabapentin pills, those are the ones you want to go for. All right, that's really easy to stack. You take one every 30 minutes or an hour, right? I would say I would aim for 45 minutes. So you take a dose every 45 minutes. So in total, like 2.5 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours. And then you'll see what I'm talking about, because it hits you all at once, okay? And you want to take at least a gram or 1.2 grams. Honestly, 300, 600 milligrams, it'll get you a little bit high. But I'm talking from like previous experience of using benzos and other shit and other downers. Yeah, this is the way you get high off this shit. If you want it to mimic that high. If you want it to mimic a benzo, you have to follow this dosing regimen. Because I noticed when I didn't follow a dosing regimen, it did not feel like this. It did not feel like a goddamn getaway. Like, it did not feel, just so comfortable like it did when the high dose kicked in and I was there riding the fucking waves, feeling like it was a goddamn getaway, the gabapentin getaway in my brain. But that's why I took that high of a dose, because, I was achieving a high, you see? So this stuff doesn't really get you high. I think it's actually intentional too. I think it was, probably intentional because, they knew it didn't have as much of a high abuse potential, but it's still there. It is still there. It doesn't matter if it didn't at the time or if they didn't think it did, but it did. I think they know it did in a higher dose. That's why they only give it like 100 or 300 milligram. I think they give a 600 milligram pill of gabapentin. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. So, they obviously knew this shit had a lower abuse potential, so that's why they marketed it. But it always does. You know everything about medications. All it requires is a higher dose, and then you're there feeling different effects. So yeah, I would say this stuff feels pretty damn good. It's definitely worth doing it over and over, but I would say the dosing regimen is kind of hard to get down. Sometimes it's hit or miss too. And then a goddamn tolerance kicks in real quick. So definitely a lot like taking a benzo. Yeah, it just feels a little more disorienting, I would say. I think a benzo is a little more clear-headed, but this must affect, I think, a little more receptors than just the GABA fucking B receptor of benzos. So yeah, it's really interesting. I would say this stuff just feels awesome, all right? So if you're going to try it, definitely try it. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I would give it a 10 out of 10, but because it's kind of odd how you have to actually dose it in this way to actually get the high you want, it's really hit or miss at times. And sometimes you never know when the food or whatever's in your stomach might affect the absorption. Because, like I said, fatty foods help it. If you're not taking that already, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to really hit you like that. Yeah, it's just really odd. And then for some reason, the carbonation actually helps it kick in more. I would take a soda or something carbonated. Even sparkling water will do it with the fatty foods. And yeah, it just actually helped it absorb more. It's really odd. I've never had a chemical where you have to follow this regimen. But I would say this is the one to do it with because, It's awesome. I never tried pregabalin. Apparently that's really similar to gabapentin, but with pregabalin, I don't think this has that dosing regimen. So if you don't want to deal with this dosing regimen, get some pregabalin. But yeah, hopefully I get some pregabalin soon. I'm really interested in trying that if it's so much like gabapentin. But other than that, gabapentin, it's pretty nice. It's pretty goddamn nice. I felt like I was chilling out, vacationing and shit, bro. I was just feeling good. It was just a little getaway I had in my room. It wasn't even a vacation, but I consider it one. But yeah, it was just real nice, man. So honestly, if you got some gabapentin, try it out, right? So, like I said, take 300 to 600 milligrams or whatever fucking dose you want, because you probably got high tolerances anyways, taking benzos. So I would say just opt for a little higher dose. But yeah, take 300 to 600 milligrams every 30 to 45 minutes and take it 4 times, 4 times 600, 300 milligrams. It's up to like 2 grams. So 1 to 2 grams. Within an hour, you will be feeling pretty damn high, and you'll see it kick in, and you'll feel it kick in. It will leave you a good, nice sleep as well. I slept pretty well on this stuff. You could use a sleep aid, but I would say it functions a lot better as, a recreational drug. Like, honestly, that has the full potential there, obviously. Other than that, it's really good for nerve pain and people that need it. Don't be going in and taking anybody's medications, all right? Anybody with families that have this, do not take that stuff. I am not condoning that. Do not steal your family's medications. Do not steal their medications because you've seen this video. That's what I'm saying. I don't want any accusations coming back to me. I'm just playing, but I'm serious though in a way. Just don't, all right? If you see this video and you know who has it, yeah, don't be abusing their meds just so you can get high. It's not nice, all right? If you are, pay for it. All right, don't be just taking shit. But yeah, so gabapentin, it was quite the getaway for my brain that night. I chilled out, laid for the rest of the night. I slept good. I smoked some weed too. I was smoking goddamn nug that time. Now I smoke wax, but I remember that nug shit got me a lot higher. I just had a lower tolerance now. It's like 5 years ago almost. It was pretty crazy. I got this prescribed after, I had to be in jail for, some shit. I went to rehab for like a day and a half, and like I made a video about it past, but I'm going to retouch on that in the future about my time in rehab. Quite short time, but anyways, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of gabapentin. Leave it down in the comments if you guys tried it. As always, stay high, stay lifted.